Today we're searching for an answer to a question that probably no one has ever asked, but the answer should be interesting anyway. What would happen if every football club in the world all played as part of the same World Super League structure? Hello and welcome to the start of a brand new series on the channel where I have a look to see what would happen if certain, probably not quite so realistic, situations from Football Manager occurred in real life. I'm Kev and I'm going to be leading you step by step through probably a number of videos where we're looking at what would happen if all of the league teams in the world were all part of the same World Super League structure. Before we get into that, I do need to credit the creator of this database. I am not a patient enough man to research, create, test and release on Steam Workshop a database like this one. So it is just something I've downloaded straight off Steam Workshop. This is it. It's called the FIFA World Super League version 2.0. It's made by a chap called Manes Clarence. I'm going to link to it down in the description. So if you want to have a go at playing around in this league, by all means you can do that. I'm also going to put a download link at the end of each episode of this little mini series so that you can download the game save that I've got in its current state. So if you like the look of a team or an interesting story emerges, you can pick up after a year or 5 years or 10 years into the future, wherever we are, and just start managing in this world. I can't vouch for whether or not it'll work or not. And to be fair, the chap on Steam Workshop says exactly the same thing in his description, that it might work. It's obviously too big to be massively tested. It's something he's done in his own time, and he is a genius. It's really well done. I've had a little play around on it. It works really well. So what he's done is taken all of the teams in the game from the entire world, all of the club sides, ranked them according to their reputation, and then split them off into leagues. So the top 4 divisions all work on a 20-team league structure with promotion and relegation between them. And then when we get a little bit further down with some of the smaller teams, we go all the way down to level 12, and there's 6 to 8 groups of 20-team leagues, and there's a lot of teams in this. I had a look. My beloved Peterborough United are on the 10th tier. That's how far down it goes. A current League One English club isn't even in the bottom division. It's not even not in the thing. Chances are, if you like any professional club in the world, they're probably somewhere in this league structure. So that's one of the other reasons for releasing the save and for pointing you towards the database itself, so you can have a root around and a play with it yourself. Because let's not kid anyone, I'm not going through every possible team league result as part of this. We're going to hit the highlights and probably focus in on the big teams, and you lot can have a root around in the database to find the other stuff out for yourselves. So without further ado, let's start having a look at some of these leagues then. It's called the FIFA League. It's the FIFA Premier League is the big one with all the big world teams in there, and then it goes down League 1, League 2, League 3, and then Level 4 with lots of sub-teams within it. So we've played one season at the moment, and we're going to have a look at the big movers and shakers after a season. I'll then do another video, depending on what you lot let me know in the comments, after maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years, and then 10 years, and we'll see if there's still an interest in the series to go even further than that. Because I've got it as a view-only league at the moment, it's actually only taken me about 20 minutes to sim a season. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't really holiday ever. But to me, that's pretty good value. And if it's only going to take 20, I guess it'll get longer each season as it starts to build up more of a history. But I don't see why we can't do 10, 20 years on this if the interest is there. So you need to let me know the interest is there by popping a like, letting me know down in the comments. And if you are new, stick a subscription on the channel as well. There's daily football manager content around these parts, and it's not all like this. There's some other stuff too. So the inaugural FIFA Premier League season, rather predictably, won by Barcelona. Less predictably, Arsenal are the second best club team in the world. Now, it obviously would have been ridiculous if they'd have won it, but they're only 2 points off of Barcelona, finishing ahead of Man United in third. I mean, they're not our 2 best teams. That's a bit weird. And Paris Saint-Germain coming in 4th place. Some surprises in here. Bayern and Chelsea both finishing below Tottenham. I think that's quite a surprise. Milan, Liverpool, Man City with all their money only just escaping from relegation. The bottom 4 teams all get relegated. So Valencia, Porto, Benfica and Sevilla all getting relegated. Liverpool just hanging on by the skin of their teeth. as did Manchester City. If we have a look at the manager movements, there have been not so many. I would expect a few more sackings off the back of teams getting relegated. But Valencia, Benfica and Porto all sacked their managers. These two happened as they got relegated. In fact, they all happened as the teams were relegated. So your Man City, your Liverpool, they've all survived despite flirting with relegation all season long. Player-wise, top scorer in the entire league, Edinson Cavani of Paris Saint-Germain, 23 goals. Why can't we click on that in more detail? Why is it not letting me? Why is nothing clickable? Oh, they're clickable. He's clickable. Apparently that's not clickable. I guess that might be because we're on view only, so maybe we only get these highlights. That might be a slight disadvantage of going view only, maybe. But Cavani top scorer, Lewandowski second and Luis Suarez third. Mesut Ozil's top of assists. Bonucci top average rating. That's a massive average rating. Outscoring Lionel Messi for average rating. Messi does pick up the Man of the Match award though. Ter Stegen gets the most clean sheets. Predictable as Barcelona have won the league. And Mustafi of Arsenal, most yellow cards, followed by Sergio Ramos. So Barcelona win the inaugural FIFA Premier League title. If we have a look at the big transfers that happened, there's not that many massive ones, really. Nothing really stands out there as being an earth-shattering transfer that you wouldn't expect to see. What we're actually seeing, probably, is players leaving some of the smaller teams lower down in the save. For example, Ajax are down in League 2. So Bayern, who are in the Premier League, picking up Riederwald for £34.5 million. That kind of makes sense. So no massive transfers between the really big clubs yet, but it will be interesting to see what happens as we start to see some of these bigger clubs get relegated, particularly if we see the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Milan make the drop next season. What's going to happen to their very expensive, very overpaid superstars? So let's drop down to League One, which is won by Roma. So promotion for Roma, Leverkusen, Lazio and Monaco. Moscow very close. CSKA Moscow very close, but just missing out. Have we got any English teams in there, which is what I'm interested in? Not so much. And we've got a whole bunch of Brazilian teams getting relegated, along with Lyon, down into the next division down. If we have a look at the transfers in this league, then yeah, we start to see some of these players moving on that we saw appear in the next league up. That transfer happened in real life. Is that hard-coded into Football Manager? I guess it probably is. If we skip down a league again, League 2, I don't know why it's spelt wrong. I'm not going to criticise the man. He's done great work on this. So Southampton winning League 2, Leicester, Wolfsburg and Everton getting promoted with them. Quite the gap then to Schalke down in 5th place. And we have relegations for Fenerbahce, Olympiacos, Fluminense and Deportivo Guadalajara. Where are they? Who are they? Obviously Luxembourg. The whole lot is based in the Luxembourg League. I don't know what country Guadalajara is. I feel like I should. Is that Mexico? It sounds a bit Mexican-y. Romelu Lukaku, top scorer in League 2. And I think Everton managed to keep hold of him as well, which he's not showing up on. The transfer fees are starting to get smaller as we work down the list of reputations for these clubs and start to work down the leagues. Interesting to see that, there's some big English teams that we've not seen yet. And I know it's all done by reputation. Ajax, I would say, surely have a reputation deserving higher than League 2, but perhaps they don't. I don't know that I'd put Everton or the English champions, Leicester, on the same level as some of these South American teams that players always seem desperate to get away from and get into Europe. But what do I know? I'm just a really handsome YouTuber. And then we move down into League 3, which I think is the last proper league of the normal league structure before we get down into the groups. So Newcastle winning League 3, Torino, Real Sociedad and West Ham also getting promoted, and it's relegation for Stoke, Red Bull Salzburg, Botafogo and Sassuolo. And there's the English teams are all involved in either promotion or relegation in that one. If we move down again, and we're not going to be going through all of these in great detail. You can see some of these playoffs haven't finished yet. So once we get down into these lower leagues, we've got 6 groups. and they're all set at an equal level, just to make it so that it doesn't take, for example, let's pick a team, Werder Bremen. It doesn't take them 10 years to make it to the Premier League if they get in a good run of form, or Sunderland, or Celtic, for example. They all have a chance. I mean, look at that, Palace romping to a win in a league that's got Celtic in it. Celtic all the way down there. That answers a bit of a debate from my non-league to legend save about where Celtic would finish. Interesting. So what I'm going to do for these lower divisions, we're not even going to go all the way down. I'm just going to sort of scroll through them. If there's any you particularly want to see, obviously pause the screen, see if you can spot the team that you're really interested in. But we're not going to dwell on this too much. Even got MLS teams in there, look. So now we're starting to see some of the, I don't want to say lower league teams. I know we've already had Newcastle appear as well as a championship team. But we've got a few championship or very low Premier League teams starting to appear in this now. Norwich in there, winning their division. Middlesbrough winning their division. And we go down into Group 6 and switch that onto all groups. And Wolves are winning their league. It really does seem to favour the English teams at times. Although Brighton just missing out to Nuremberg in Group C of League 6. But we are getting down into the smaller, probably less interesting clubs now. So I say that as a man who is a fan of a League 10 club. So Leeds look all the way down in League 7. Both them and Fulham beaten out by two decent-sized clubs. Blackburn winning their league, moving up potentially into the next league up. So we're going to stop there. We're not going to go all the way down to 12. Like I said, I am going to upload this save at the link to download this save is down in the description. So if you want to have a route around to see how far this goes, in fact, if we go all the way down to number 12 and just show you the kind of teams that we have at step 12, so you know what you're dealing with. Look at all those groups. So many groups down at step 12. And I don't know if we're going to have any English teams at this level. I can't even imagine. I mean, it's below English non-league looking at this. I've never heard of almost all of these clubs. Shamrock Rovers in there. Fleetwood. So that's the sort of level we're looking at, picking out some of the British teams that I recognise. So chances are, if you follow a professional football club, they're probably somewhere in this structure. So get onto Steam Workshop, download the mod for the game so that you can have a play around in the FIFA League yourself. Or in the description below, download my save that will just pick things up from the end of Season 1 so that you can either pick a team out and manage them or just have more of a detailed nose around in this database and see what's in there. I'm going to be back with another video in this series in a couple of days' time. I've got to have a chance to holiday a few seasons. We'll do 2 more seasons and then we'll have a look to see who's winning what, and it'll be good to see you down in the comments starting to make some predictions for who's likely to be moving up into that top division, who's likely to charge through, who's going to be winning it. Is it just going to be Barcelona dominating it? Are Arsenal going to go and win something and it's going to be the FIFA Premier League? So let me know what you think is likely to happen, and where do you think the likes of Man City and Liverpool are going to end up after their really poor first seasons. And also let me know how you get on if you do decide to manage someone in this save, whether it's off the back of the Steam Workshop mod or by loading up this save from down in the description. I really hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please pop a like on there for me. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. As I mentioned earlier, there is daily Football Manager content on this channel, and it would be very nice to welcome you along to some of that. And thank you very much for watching.